It is 11:22 a.m. on a Tuesday in December. Marcus Reeves is standing at the kitchen counter of a studio apartment on Fatherland Street in East Nashville, Tennessee. The window above the sink faces east. Morning light is coming through at a low angle, the kind that makes ordinary things look like they mean something. His phone is ringing on the counter. He knows who it is before he looks. He looks anyway. Mom. He watches it ring. 4 times. 5. Goes to voicemail. He reads the transcript when it appears. Honey, we're so sorry. We were scared. We didn't know how to handle it. We love you. Please call us back. He pours his second cup of coffee. Doesn't call back. It was a Friday. Chicago had already made up its mind about the season. Dead leaves plastered to the wet sidewalk on North Paulina Street. Sky the color of old concrete. The kind of cold that gets inside your coat before you finish zipping it. Marcus had been on the 22 bus for 40 minutes, staring at nothing. He was 27. He had worked at Alderton Logistics, 9th floor, 225 West Randolph Street, for 3 years, 2 months, and 11 days. He knew the exact count because he had been keeping it, quietly, privately, since the Thursday afternoon when Sandra Kowalski called him into the walled conference room and slid a single sheet of paper across the table without making eye contact. Sandra had the kind of face that had delivered bad news before, practiced neutral, professionally kind. The face of someone who had learned, very carefully, not to feel it. The paper said, position eliminated. Effective Friday, October 18th. Marcus read it once. Folded it in half, said, okay. Sandra looked up for the first time like she hadn't expected that word in that tone. He took the bus home. The office is on the 6th floor of a building on Lower Broadway, Nashville. He starts at 8 a.m. There's a welcome email from HR waiting when he logs in, a Slack message from his new manager saying glad you're here, and a mug on his desk left by someone on the team, filled with pens, a sticky note that says welcome to the crew. He sets his CompTIA Security Plus certification card next to the monitor. He passed the exam on February 4th. $74,000 a year, hybrid schedule, benefits from day one. He doesn't think about 225 West Randolph Street, not once. The apartment on North Paulina was his parents' place. Marcus had moved back 8 months earlier. Temporarily, everyone agreed, after his lease ended, and the market did what the market does. His mother, Diane, had made up the back bedroom without complaint. His father, Ray, had said very little, which was normal. Ray expressed most things through silence and the occasional look across the dinner table that said everything he'd decided not to say out loud. Marcus walked in at 6:14 p.m. His mother was in the kitchen. His father was on the couch, Cubs game on mute, rain tapping the window above him. Marcus told them plainly, the way you say a thing when you've had 40 minutes on a bus to absorb the shock and now you're just delivering the information. I lost my job today. They're letting me go. Ray muted the game, stood up, walked to the hall closet, came back with a black hefty trash bag, the big kind 42-gallon, and set it on the coffee table without a word. You've got an hour, he said. Maybe an hour and a half. Diane didn't say anything. She turned back to the kitchen. Marcus heard the water running. He stood there for a moment. Then he picked up the trash bag. Then he picked up his keys from the hook by the door. Both sets. Nobody noticed. Nobody asked why a man with one address and no job needed 2 sets of keys. His greatest liability, the thing that had followed him his whole life, the quality his father called too quiet, the trait that got him overlooked at Alderton and underestimated at every table he'd ever sat at, was the same thing that had kept him silent for 2 weeks about a certified letter from a law office in Beaufort, South Carolina. He didn't talk. Not when he was excited, not when he was scared, not when something significant happened, and the normal human instinct was to tell someone, anyone, just to hear the words out loud. Marcus processed in silence. His father had called it a weakness since he was 9 years old. Say something. Speak up. Nobody's going to hand you anything if you don't ask. What Ray Reeves never understood, what Marcus himself hadn't fully understood until he was sitting in the Alderton break room on a Monday in October, reading a certified letter 3 times over a cold cup of coffee, was that silence is not the absence of power. Marcus was on lunch break at Alderton, Chrome open on his work laptop, The Beaufort County Property Records portal pulled up next to the Gmail tab where the original message had come in. His great-uncle Edmund Reeves, his grandfather's younger brother, a man Marcus had met exactly 3 times. Most recently, at a 2019 funeral in Columbia, South Carolina, had died on October 2nd at the age of 81. No wife, no children, 40 years of buying coastal property in small increments, quietly, carefully, the way some people collect things no one else thinks to want. Edmund had left Marcus a beach house, 4 Marsh Creek Lane, Fripp Island, South Carolina, 1,340 square feet, direct water view, appraised at $618,000. Marcus read the letter 3 times. Then he closed both tabs, finished his sandwich, and went back to his desk. He didn't tell his mother, who called every Sunday. He didn't tell his father. He didn't tell a single person at Alderton. He signed the estate paperwork through the attorney's office. He had the second key set mailed to his work address, plain silver ring, pewter anchor keychain. When it arrived, he put it in his jacket pocket. And he said nothing. Not because he was ashamed, not because he was afraid. Because he had learned slowly, over 27 years of being told he was too quiet, too passive, too easy to overlook, that the only things that stay safe are the things you don't hand to people before they've shown you what they'll do with them. 14 days later, his father handed him a trash bag. Marcus already knew what he was going to do. He just didn't say it. Greg Halloran's text came in at 2:47 p.m. Greg was a retired high school principal from Columbus, Ohio. 61 years old, 2 golden retrievers, 6-month lease signed November 3rd on 4 Marsh Creek Lane, Fripp Island, $2,800 a month. First and last wired on signing day. The text said, "Hey, older couple at the door asking for you. Say they're your parents. Want me to let them in?" Marcus read it standing in his Nashville kitchen. He typed back, "No, tell them I used my key." He set the phone down. He didn't watch for the reply. He knew what was happening 600 miles away on that porch, the Atlantic gray and flat behind them. The first official day of winter, wind off the water at about 19 miles an hour. The kind of specific cold that makes you understand. Finally, what it felt like to stand in a Chicago apartment holding a trash bag while the rain hit the window. He hoped they stayed long enough to feel it. Not out of cruelty, out of accuracy. If you've ever been the quiet one, the one people talked over, looked past, wrote off before you said a word, share this, and follow the channel. Because we don't tell the stories of people who fought back loudly. We tell the stories of people who waited, and then didn't have to. $2,800 hits Marcus's account on the 1st. Greg Halloran renewed the Fripp Island lease in January. He mentioned, in a short text, that he'd seen an older couple at the door in December. Marcus thanked him and left it there. The voicemail from December 9th is still in the inbox, unlistened to. The transcript is enough. The black hefty bag 42-gallon, the big one, is folded neatly in the back of the Civic. Marcus has thought about throwing it away. He hasn't. Some things you keep because they're the clearest picture you'll ever have of what someone thought you were, and what you were already becoming while they were thinking it. The keys are on the kitchen counter, both sets. The pewter anchor keychain is slightly tarnished now, catching the Nashville morning light the same way it caught the Chicago afternoon light on October 18th, when Marcus lifted it off the hook and walked out the door. He doesn't carry them anymore. He doesn't need to. The silence that his father called a flaw, that Sandra Kowalski misread as acceptance, that Alderton Logistics never once thought to ask about. That silence had held $618,000 for 2 weeks without flinching. It had held it while his father handed him a trash bag. It had held it while he slept in the Civic on North Milwaukee Avenue with the heat running low. It had held it all the way to Nashville. People who talk too much give away the hand. People who don't talk at all, the ones who've been called passive, been called checked out, been told their whole lives to speak up. They're not waiting because they have nothing to say. They're waiting because they already know how it ends. Marcus Reeves pours his coffee. The phone is face down on the counter. Outside the east-facing window, Nashville is bright and cold and entirely indifferent to what happened on North Paulina Street in October. He is home. He has always known how to be quiet. He just never knew, until now, what it was worth. If this story found the right person today, share it, and follow the channel. We'll be here.